In this lecture, we will talk about connected application. Connected application is used for authentication and authorization purpose, where we use connected application and log in into either Salesforce environment or any other external application to access their APIs, and with the help of API, we can access their protected resources. So we can also say that connected application is a framework that enables any external system or any external application that can integrate with Salesforce using Salesforce API or using some standard protocols like such as SAML for single sign-on, Auth0, OpenID Connect, or any other external system can be consumed from the Salesforce using their REST or SOAP APIs. Once we are done with the connected application development, or we can say connected application creation, it gives us some important information like client ID and client secret, which is very useful information that is used whenever we are trying to do the integration. With the help of connected application, we can control the level of information from where our connected application can be accessed, which user can access that connected application, which profile can access that connected applications. All we can control at the connected application level. Here are the few use cases for the connected applications, and these use cases are developed by keeping in mind our Salesforce.com platform. So we can say that these use cases are for Salesforce.com platform, and we can also say that these use cases can work for any other external application as well. So the number one use case is accessing the Salesforce data using their APIs. You are developing a kind of e-commerce product where you are developing your web on top of some other platform like PHP, Node.js, some JavaScripting framework, and you wanted to display the product data from Salesforce. You can create a connected application, and then through that connected application, your product can access the Salesforce data, the Salesforce product data. The number two is that we can also use connected application inside our Salesforce environment in order to enable the single sign-on for our Salesforce environment. So suppose that our Salesforce environment is working as an identity provider for any other application where we are using our one Salesforce environment to log in into the multiple Salesforce environment. We can create a connected application for the various Salesforce environment, and we can enable the single sign-on to log in into the multiple Salesforce environment. Then we can also access the third-party applications. The access, we can manage that. We tried about like how, like which API can access our application, which API can make a request to our Salesforce application. Sometimes we can also control what platform we wanted to access our application, like either it is a if we talk about mobile application, it can be an iOS platform or Android platform. We can manage those as well. And our Salesforce environment or any other external system can also work as authorization server. Authorization server is like you have a one application which user wanted to access, but that application is only accessible when they have access to Salesforce. Then your Salesforce is going to work as an authorization server. Similarly, if you wanted to access some other application and that application requires access to some other external application like Gmail, so you can only access that application if you have a Gmail account. There Google email is going to play an important role as an authorization server. So that's what we can also use our Salesforce as an authorization server. Now we have talked about what connected application is, how to use, what are the different use cases. Let's quickly create a connected application inside our Salesforce environment. We will talk about the various aspects, the various information that we can put inside our connected application. Once you are logged in into your Salesforce environment, if you are in Classic, go to setup from the quick search box, just type apps and then select this apps under create. It is going to open an interface for you where you can scroll down to the bottom. You will find a connected applications. If you already have a connected apps, you will see the list of those connected applications there. If you don't have, you just need to click on new. It is going to show you an interface where you can provide the details of your application. If you are in Salesforce Classic, you just need to go to setup from the home page. In the quick search box, just type app manager and select this app manager under app sections, and you will see there are two buttons. One is a lightning application, one is connected application. So you can just select the button new connected application and create one here. And if you are inside your lightning environment, you can also type here manage, and you say that connected, so you can manage your connected applications as well. You can just click here on this link which is there, and you will see all your applications which are there. Like these are some managed applications which are already there. Then this is the application which I have developed. This is again the application which I have developed. So you can see here that I have got multiple, and out of that there is one which is workbench. There is one which is for force.com IDE. So these application, if you ever have used your workbench, that workbench is behind the scene using the connected application to log in into your Salesforce environment. That is why this workbench connected application is here. And you can also see like what user are permitted. There is some different settings for this application. So all these you can see and you can manage using your connected application. Now let's quickly provide the connected application name. The name should be the purpose, your purpose, why we are going to use this application. So sometimes you wanted to sync the orders, sometimes you wanted to sync the product, sometimes you wanted to sync the pricing. So I can say that pricing sync, and it is going to take the API name. Just provide a contact email. This is a information which is required. Then you can also provide the logo URL and icon URL for your product. If you want to, you can choose some the icons and the logos from this link, and it is going to give you the list of all the logos. If you want to use, you can just go ahead and use that. I already have these Salesforce icons which I have got from here. I can use that. If you want to use some other, you can use that as well, like marketing cloud. You can just go ahead and use this. So under this API enable OAuth settings, this is what we are going to play around in this course. So we'll just click on this checkbox. As soon as we click on this checkbox, we can see that there are multiple things which are coming up for us. Callback URL. Callback URL is the URL where your user will be landed once the authorization is success. So if you copy this and you can just paste it here. I can also show you one quick example once we are done with this connected applications. So you can just provide the callback URL. You will definitely be known about that URL where you want it, your users to be landed if they are using your connected application. You can also use digital signatures, and you just need to upload your certificate. This is useful whenever you are using machine server to server integration with the help of JWT. We'll not talk about this in this course. And then these are the scopes. Scope means the permissions which you can, not you, which the client can be your web application, your mobile application, or your web, can perform on behalf of you. So if you select like full, that means the user who is using this application granted the access, given the consent, that application will be able to do fully, can do anything with that user. You can just provide kind of APIs. You definitely be needing refresh token. You can select that, and then you can select some sort of basic information about the users. And there are some others based on your need. You can use that, like you are connecting with Pardot for some B2B use cases. You can select Pardot underscore API. You are developing. You are kind of going to develop a connected application, an application which is a chatter application where you can select this chatter API. You are kind of developing a forum, so you can use that. Then you have got some sort of Tableau CRM, which is formerly known as Einstein Analytics. You can select that based on your need. You can select the auth scopes. I never suggest to select, go ahead and blindly select all these. Whatever your need is, you can select those. If you only want to hit the API, just select the API. Don't select everything. But for this course, we are going to select these four. There are various other things which we are not going to touch in this lecture, because the that are completely advanced things, and those comes under identity and access management. So we'll go ahead and click on save. It will show you a message in red color which will say that allow 2 to 10 minutes for your changes to take effect on the server. So I always suggest, and I always, what I do is I wait for minimum 10 minutes before I start using this application. So if you have seen in the slides, we have talked about these two parameters, which is client secret and client key, consumer key and consumer secret. So these are the two things which will be used while we are doing the authentication with the help of auth2 flow. We'll also talk about, we'll do the practical things about various auth2 flows in the coming lectures. And then this is the callback URI and all. So you can also generate the initial access token by clicking on generate, and it is going to give you the initial access token. And this access token you can give to your integration team, and that team can start using your access token. That depends on your requirement. We are not going to use this. We will go ahead and generate our own access token. Once we are done here, you can see that there is a button called manage. You can just click on this button to manage here, to manage your application. And under this application you can manage various things. So let's quickly edit these policies and talk about one by one. So these two URL, start URL and mobile start URL, all mainly for whenever we are using we are developing a single sign on, so we are not going to do that here. Now under this auth policies, you can see here we have got all user may self authorize. That means if user have access, they can authorize, they can use this access token. Or we can say that admin approves the user or pre-authorize. That means only admin can authorize the users to use this application, and which is and most of the case we always use this. We let the admin to control which user can access this application, so that we don't compromise the security of our Salesforce environment. So we have selected this. Then you can also enable a single logout. Single logout is kind of thing, if you are logged in into various Salesforce environment. Suppose that you have used this Salesforce environment as an identity provider, and using this Salesforce environment credential, you are logging into 3 to 4 Salesforce environment using single sign-on. Now if you enable this, you go ahead and log out from here, it is immediately going to log out from all other Salesforce environments. That is what enable single logout do. So we are going to remove this checkbox. On the left, if you see here, we have got enforce IP restrictions. So if we want to enforce IP restrictions, we can enforce, and these IP restrictions will be enforced at your network IP level or your profile IP level. Or you can say that enforce IP restrictions but relax for refresh token. We can also do this. We say relax IP restrictions for activated devices, relax IP restrictions. So it is a default. We always enforce the IP restrictions so that our connected application is not being used where at a place where our IP is not, we can say, is not authorized to use. Now here it is a refresh token policy, which is saying that when the refresh token is being expired. So by default, this is selected like refresh token is valid until it is revoked. But you can also say that immediately expire refresh token. That means if you are using your refresh token at least once to get the new access token that will get expired, you can say that expire refresh token if not used for, I can say 20 days. If it's not used, I can also say that hours, I can also say that month. I can also force refresh expire refresh token after hours, days or month. I say that I wanted to expire refresh token after 72 days, and this refresh token will definitely get expired. But we are going to select this for now for this tutorial purpose. And then under the session policies, you can see timeout value. We can select, and this timeout value is going to determine the lifetime of your access token. So if you don't select anything here, your the time or the lifetime of your access token is going to be determined from the value which is there under the session settings. So let's quickly see what is there. So it is 2 hours. That means your access token will get expired in 2 hours. Now if you are changing the timeout value, you say that it is 24 hours, then the value of your access token is going to be 24 hours. You can say high assurance session required. High assurance session is like that you must always be using this checkbox so that your application is not being used by unauthorized users. So that is why we are just blocking this application. This application will not be uh, visible to use or applicable to use. And then there are few two information other, again that is something we are not going to touch here. Go ahead and save it. Now we have done, we have changed the policies, we have managed our application, and if you come here under this access, you can see as this application is controlled by the admin, we must need to provide the access either to the profiles or to the permission sets. So we can just go ahead and add the profile, and the profile which we are using is system admin, and there is one more which is Udemy integration. We can just go ahead and save these two profiles. So now the user who are having this system admin and Udemy integration profile, those user will only be able to use this application which is pricing sync. And then if you have some other permission set, you can just go ahead, add the permission set. Like I have got Udemy integration, I can select this, I can save this, and this permission set, the user having this permission set now can also use this connected application.